and welcome to the stream. Can I get one of my players to talk to make sure I can hear you on the stream?
Hello, can you hear me on the stream?
We can. Congratulations. So last we left off, a very unlikely trio gathered together at the Yawning Portal, meeting each other with suspicion, some mild bribery or payment exchanging, a mild amount of cajoling with the locals to get a few ideas of what might be below them. They then entered the Yawning Portal, and instead of going a direction in which so many other adventurers have trod, they blasted open a secret door unknown to many adventurers. Even those that had discovered it before had previously not opened it, as it was really just a one-way door. There was no way to open it from the other side. But violence was the answer.
We looked first. We didn't just go in blasting.
It's true, but violence was the answer. So, after briefly having some threatening hand motions made towards you by a tall, sort of heavily armored automaton of some sort, you find yourself standing in a hallway with the sounds of its footsteps retreating. Lethvagi, to start us off, would you like to make an Arcana check?
I can indeed. Start off like we did last time with a 5.
Ooh, all right. Uh, what can you surmise with a 5? The hand motions that it was making definitely looked like it was trying to do magic. That's about all you're going to get with a 5.
That is fine. So, are we following this creature?
It left. It went down, or it went up this path here.
Let me find my pointer. It left up this direction here.
You know, it might help us if you told us what your quest down here was. Then we'd know if this would be helpful in going in the right direction. Like, if your goal is to find a robot who can't do magic, then we got it, baby. Let's follow. We're done. But if you don't tell us what we're looking for, we can't really help you. If we want to help you.
What's the name of the area where the thing I want is? It's that. I can't remember. It's it's the floor of the dungeon where.
Oh, we got floor here.
Yeah,
This is
we
easy.
stood on it.
Let me see. I'm going to try to do this as vaguely for you as possible. You're aware that it was originally on the first floor of the dungeon here, the one that you're on, and it existed in the northern part of the dungeon.
My information tells me that what I am searching for is on this floor of the dungeon, probably in the northern section.
Which way is north?
Up.
I guess that's the right direction.
So we should follow, but carefully.
Lead the way.
And I shall lead the way. I'm going to come up to here and then look round that corner.
Okay. Sorry.
You saw everything for a second there.
I know, just briefly. I am still learning how to use this. My apologies. As you look around this corner, you can see that it takes a bend. I'll go back down and uncover the rest of this nonsense for you all. Maybe, if it'll let me. There are like 5 buttons and I'm still confused here. You do go by a doorway on your way there. You do note that. It is right here. I'll open it out just a little bit so you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it locked?
It's hard to tell. It has a handle and a lock on it.
If I try the handle, is it locked?
Yes.
Okay.
Hang on, are we not going to spend 45 minutes trying to work out how to open the door before we try the handle?
No, I've got places to be.
Come on. um, can you see anything through the door? Through the keyhole?
I will look through the keyhole.
Sure. Do you have dark vision?
No.
It
I made another
is.
character without dark vision.
You're fine.
I keep doing that.
Can you make me a perception check?
Uh-huh. Oh, natural 20 for 26.
Very nice. Looking in
I
the
see
room,
all.
it is very dark in there, but it's so dark that it makes this slight sliver of light on the other side of what appears to almost look like a broom closet, maybe on the inside. There is quite literally a broom leaned against the wall, a small bucket. But at the back of the room, there is a sliver of light that you can make out, as though there's another doorway there.
There's a broom and another door. This might be just cleaning closet.
Then I say we carry on.
But who locks their cleaning closet?
I have never been in one. I would not know.
And why
Oh,
would you
of
have
course
another
you wouldn't,
door?
Noble. Well, let's keep going.
But there's another door. Why would you have another door in a closet? Unless you didn't
That's
want
another-
people to go through it because they think it's a closet.
That's a good point. Do I have
I
thieves'
would
tools?
I would advise not listening to the conspiracy theorist.
Well, unfortunately, I have to listen to both of you. My hearing is quite good, so. Can I try to pick this lock
Sure.
with my thieves' tools? Is that a sleight of hand?
I do believe so, unless you have a thieves' tool button.
I don't think so. Usually I just click on Asterion and he does it for me.
Right.
23.
All right. With the 23, easy enough. It is probably what was once a skeleton key, maybe 2 tumblers, so a quick click, click, and you're in. It turns silently. It's not terribly rusty, looks like it's been oiled in some time recent past. Unlocks easily enough.
We'll just peek in. We'll just look. We'll just see. It might go north, we don't know.
As opposed to the tunnel that definitely goes north.
We can look at that one too. I suppose we are in a rush, you only have 5 days of food. But I have more food than that, so I'm gonna look in here.
All right. Opening up the doorway, you can see that what was an apparent sliver of light fades just a bit as you open the door, and a little bit more light shines in. And you're pretty sure you're looking at a fairly well disguised secret door, but having seen the outline at the bottom of it, you know exactly where it is. And you can still see that sliver of light, and going to carry on that natural 20 perception check because you're not going to just use it to look through a keyhole. At the bottom of the sliver of light, you can see that there's something on the other side of the door blocking parts of the sliver of light. A couple of different sizes scattered across the bottom.
Okay. Can I like put my ear to the door and listen, see what if I could hear what's going on the other side?
Sure. You can hear multiple voices talking to one another. There are the occasional hushing type whispers from a singular voice, but every now and again you hear another voice just getting louder as there's some sort of an argument or disagreement.
Can I tell what they're talking about?
Go ahead and make another perception check.
Nine?
It's a little hard to make out. You can recognize that there are definitely more than 3 voices.
Okay. I'll come back and I'll say there are people having a secret meeting in there. I think it's secret because one of them's whispering. And you don't whisper in normal meetings.
Before we make any choices, it may be best to discuss how we all fight. Just in case they turn hostile. I am.
I'm sorry. Kuro has goggles of night. I forgot. That's my magic item. I can see.
Nice.
Go on. How we fight.
I summon and throw blades. So I am somewhat ranged.
I'll just take out my normal knives. I got some too. I can throw them, or I can hold on to them, and, you know.
I talk, and sometimes I can throw things. Mainly spells.
So we have range, and a bit of both.
Yep.
So Kuro, you should, if we are indeed going through this door, you should go first, then myself, and then Antyrus bringing up the rear.
Unless...
Are we going through this door?
If
Do we need to go into the secret meeting?
If it's people, why don't we try talking to them first? It's normally what you do in polite society.
I mean,
I suppose we could just knock on the door and see what happens. I mean,
Yes.
they might be a little spooked because I think it's supposed to be a secret door, but it's not that secret because I found it. But we could knock.
Or we
Ask
could
them for
come
directions?
back to it.
Or we could come back to it, yeah.
There was the way that the weird metal man went, and there was the other side. We could, and then use it as a fallback point, or as an escape point. If we get in, if there's another way in, you see, and then we need to escape, we could just blow the hole through, and we know we're near the exit.
Should we keep heading north for now?
that is fine by me.
Alrighty.
I will continue round. Can I keep an eye out for any kind of trapping that may have happened in these corridors?
Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
That's a 12.
The stone floors here are cracked, ragged around the edges, and show signs of wear. You think this is not an infrequent path of travel, and you don't see anything to suggest that it would be dangerous for the average individual.
Fair. I will then continue round.
You find yourself... Yes?
Kuro, should we follow him?
Maybe just at a distance?
Okay.
Just let him go.
See how far he goes before he realizes we're gone.
Perfect.
Nah, he's got the rest of the money we want.
True.
You find yourself looking at a door. It is fairly simple, made of wood, but looks to be fairly recently made. The wood is not warped and old like many other things in the dungeon, recently installed. And across the front of it is, painted in blood, a bat. The animal, not the baseball tool.
Yeah, I was just about to make that joke.
And does this symbol mean anything to me? Do I know it's linked to anything down here?
You can make an Arcana or a History check.
Let's go for history. My rolls are so bad. 8.
Maybe we should let him go.
I mean, you know, vampires have a thing with bats. They are a creature of the night. There's probably more than a couple of gods that incorporate them in their symbology in some fashion.
I will look behind me and do you wish to assess this door?
I will assess the door. Do bats have any significance in thieves' cant or anything that I would know?
You know
It'd probably
what?
be the other type of bat.
Actually, go ahead and make me a history check if you could.
Let's go. 18.
You recognize this symbol.
Nice.
Some of your connections in life have led you to be aware of certain varieties of thieves' cant that are more symbology related, and you know the symbols of several gangs. This is the symbol of the Undertaker's gang.
Ooh, that sounds metal.
Yeah, actually, a fairly notorious vampire gang that has recently been kind of at odds with the Xanathar Guild, another gang that you're aware of that tends to operate in the underside of Waterdeep.
Okay, Undertaker gang. Okay, so I'm guessing there's a bunch of vampires behind this door, or at least a place where vampires hang out. Gangster vampires. I don't know if that makes them better or worse.
I really hope they've all got really like 1950s gang names now, like Slim and Knuckles.
Oh, should we go ask them?
Are you passing on this information to us?
Yes, I said the bit about them being vampire gangsters.
And Taris, you fancy conversing with a vampire?
Always. Is the door
Girl
unlocked?
kind of pull their blouse up over around their neck a little higher. And sorry, you said they're enemies with the Xanathar gang? What was that bit?
They've been a bit at odds. They're a much smaller gang than the Xanathar Guild. The Xanathar Guild is well known
guild.
for... Yeah, it is a gang, but they call themselves a guild. They are the equivalent of a thieves guild, and they operate in most of
Gotcha.
Waterdeep. Really big guild. Whereas this one is a much smaller, much newer, kind of up and coming situation that you've heard tell of.
Okay.
If they have knowledge of this area of the dungeon, then we may be able to trade for it. If they do not attack us on sight, of course.
What do you think a bunch of vampire gangsters will want in trade, though?
I mean, if they are at odds with another guild, then maybe my connections or even your connections may be of use to us. But trading for information would not be unwanted.
Well, you want to knock then? Or can we just go in because we're not vampires, so we don't have to be invited in?
Whatever you choose, my dear.
This is my entourage, after all. I forgot. I'll knock on the door.
Okay. Well, you give the door a knock, and let me get that eraser going again. The door opens, and you find yourself looking into a wide room, multiple pillars down its length that seem to be statues of, at a glance, Waterdavian nobles. You recognize a few of them as ancient ones from history. But standing between them, lounging about, kind of leaning up against walls, and generally looking like menacing bully kids in a 1980s film, there are just a collection of these very excessively gothically dressed individuals. There is a lot of... If there were safety pins, there would be extra of them stuck through things. A lot of dyed black hair, and very quickly the flashing of a lot of grins with very pointy teeth. As the door opens, the individual in the highest popped collar looks towards you and says, "Welcome to the Sanctum. Are you looking to pay the toll and pass through?"
We're not sure about passing through quite yet. We were just hoping to find some information, and I'll just shove my companion in front of me.
Which one?
You,
And to put
the one who wants information. Actually, I should probably push the one with Riz in front of me, but it's too late now.
too late now.
Just
no.
Nantara's waving from the back.
We were hoping to trade for information about what is to be found in this area of the dungeon. I'm sure we have something that you may need, a service we could perform, and in return, information would be greatly received.
Well, that would depend thoroughly on what one was looking for in here. We don't have any services we need provided at the moment. We do take cash, gems, items.
Well,
I
good thing
am-
you're rich. I don't say that out loud.
Beautiful.
I am searching for a noble who may have passed through here a week or so ago. Would have had a signet ring with the signet for. I wrote it down a minute ago. Oh, for Chris and for the Rosnar family. Any information on them would be appreciated.
Well, that one you can have for free. He paid his toll and went down.
And how much is this toll?
How much do you have?
I would not be a very good negotiator if I started with that, would I?
He shrugs and says, "You'd be surprised how much people are willing to pay of whatever it is they have in their pockets in order to not be someone's next meal." There's quite literally another one in the corner kind of flipping a coin at this point. You can hear the vague beat in the background of clicking fingers.
I am also searching for an area of this dungeon that used to hold worship of maybe some of the gods that are not as accepted as others.
$10 for the information.
10 gold for the information and 5 more for the passage.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm glad my rolls have been good so far. It fills me with confidence.
That's the spirit.
Thanks. That's an 8.
I'm thinking something more like 50.
Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have the backing of one of the biggest families in Waterdeep. You do not want to risk my ire.
Would you like to
I
make...
will.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Intimidation check, but please continue. Go along with your threat. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I will 10 for the information and 15 for the passage. And I will make an intimidation check.
And
18.
never mind. You don't need it.
25. If you'll accept that the information comes with a guided tour through our territory and right back out.
So you will take us to that area, but we may not stay.
You might have to pay a toll to get back through on the way out.
I have a question.
Yeah.
As Nontaris kind of moves himself forward and into the room. Are there other ways of getting in here? You see, we blew a hole in the wall, and it obviously means if you're charging people to get through, having a closed-off wall isn't a good way of going about it. Normally a sign or an actual door. Also, Metal Man, did you see him? Does weird hand gestures?
Yes. He passes through sometimes. He's been here a while. Yes, there are other ways through to here. He points to a couple of hallways and up a set of stairs you can see to the north. Several of these hallways connect with other ones. If you went through the secret door, as you said, well, one, congratulations, that's a first. Secondly, so you didn't run into any bugbears?
Well, I've run into bugbears. I mean, when would you like me to tell you about the times I've run into bugbears?
Was thinking more recent. So you came in the back, all the way the back way.
Yes.
Ah, yes. Normally people come through down there. He points to one of the hallways, or over down there. Rarely does anyone come into the Sanctum this direction.
And why do you charge a toll? Are you financially struggling at the minute?
It's not so much as financially struggling as this is how we make a living.
Then Taurus, they are criminals.
I have a lot to unpack in that sentence, Lafagi, mainly because the hierarchy of nobility that is the actual criminals of this civilization that we live in, because of the taxes that they take upon the people that live in their lands. But I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to these lovely people here that have very sharp, pointy teeth.
One of them nods in appreciation. He gets it.
Now, obviously you're down here. I'm not from down here, I'm from up there. I could put you in contact with my organization, and we do a very good job of getting information into and out of Waterdeep. We could come to an agreement. Say, you give us free passage, we become allies, and in return, if there are any other gangs you may or may not be at odds with, my group could badmouth them enough that they have enough trouble up there not to see you coming from down here.
An interesting proposition. Would you like to roll a persuasion check?
Watch it be a nat one, because that's my luck.
Can I just kind of like casually kind of like poke him in the side and give him guidance?
Sure. Why
You
not?
can add a D4.
How do I roll a d4?
You pick it up and you shake it in your hand and then you let it go. And the number that's pointing up. That's not good.
Bottom left-hand side of the Beyond.
$23.
All right.
Oh, you didn't need that.
With a 23, the eyebrows kind of knit together and a few of them shuffle a little bit. That's a proposition we might be able to take you up on. It's been a long time since anyone's given the Xanathar Guild trouble.
I could certainly help you with giving their surface appearance a good smudge.
And do not forget that as a favor of a noble family, if we find out some operations, I have the ear of some people who can cause them problems.
They've been at it a long time, but any trouble you could cause them could make you a friend of us. You can have passage, just don't mess with any of us and we won't mess with any of you.
Deal.
Friends, then.
Wonderful.
He holds out a hand for you to shake, Nantaris.
I shake his hand and I pull out one of the bottles of dwarven whiskey and pass it over to him.
Okay. He takes a swig of it and passes it back to you.
Friends.
Indeed. Thank you for your services in advance. You said it was a church you all are looking for.
It is an area where I believe there were many churches, temples, worship of deities that were not appreciated on the surface.
I haven't spent a lot of time in it, but I know the direction that it's in.
That will do.
He points up northwards towards the stairs and begins walking with you past a array of other banditry in various costumery. And let me try to switch maps for the first time on here, figure out how to do that.
See, guys, we're already making friends. I told you we'd be the best of friends.
You have saved me 25 gold. I will give you that.
Oh, wonderful. When can I expect it?
I'm not sure you understand what saved means, Nantaris.
I understand what give you that is, though.
And I did
To
not
give
say
me
that.
You said I saved you 25 and that you'd give it to me. That is exactly what I heard.
I also heard it.
The intricacies of proper speech eludes you. I see.
I think I know speech rather well. I mean, I did get you out of paying 25 gold. You couldn't do that, and you're a noble.
I'm just going to ignore him now.
Alright. You know what? That's fair enough. Well, as you all head up the hallways, you see what appears to be a fair amount of banditry, bedding and rooms and various places where people have been sleeping and otherwise coexisting. You can see bits of food hanging around. It brings you up into a significantly larger room, and you can hear other bandits in multiple other rooms surrounding this large one here. Get you a description for that one. That's quite historical. You find yourself standing in a hallway that looks, it is called the Hall of the Bone Throne, just for the record. In the middle of the floor, there is yes, I know, Emma. There is, there is what appears to be a dead wyvern skeleton in the middle of the floor, variously scattered about with some junk. a couple of doorways that lead off, and a doorway that leads north. The throne itself appears to have velvet cushions sitting on top of it that have not yet aged. There are marble steps up to it, and its armrests are carved to resemble something like a fanged snake.
Are we being led into this room?
Yes. They're walking ahead of you and just passing through. They don't really seem to pay attention. They just step around the outside of the dead wyvern. You can see that as you're anywhere near the wyvern, it's a pile of bones, a skull, some rotted leathery wing flaps kind of just still flapping a little bit, a stinger still at the end of its tail, and shards of some sort of clear crystal scattered in amongst it.
How difficult would it be for me to steal a tiny piece of the skeleton?
Probably not too difficult. Depends on what tiny piece of the skeleton you're trying to steal.
The entire
just-
skull.
No, I just want
Pocket.
a little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit. Or
Probably
like a
not.
scale or something.
Okay.
A little souvenir.
You could probably get the tip of a wing bone, one of the tiny little claws on the end of its wing, or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
similar.
I try and do that.
Would you like to make a sleight of hand check?
I would like to steal.
You're going to make the whole thing collapse now, really loudly and obviously.
29.
Or not.
You just walk by, it kind of scoots a little bit with your boot, and you just briefly stoop low enough to pick it up, drop it into a pocket.
Right.
Awesome. Well, Nintaris, I see you eyeballing that bone throne. Did you need to do something about that?
You said the. Can I do an investigation to see if the cushion is the same age as everything else in the room?
Sure.
Yeah, 21.
Looking at it, it looks newer. It doesn't look dirty, but you're not sure if that's because it's not the same age as everything in here, or if it's been in some way enchanted to remain new, because it does seem to match everything around it. And you can see that there are hinges on the back of the seat cushion that also match the rest of the bone around it.
Can I lift it up?
You sure can. How do you roll dice again in here, Robert?
I don't actually know how you do it
On my side?
on maps.
It's all good. Can I just get somebody to roll me a d20?
Yeah, I'll do it. This one.
Then you can be responsible.
That's a 4 because, as we know, I can't roll
No,
That's
why don't we
fine.
let him do it?
because we want the DM to roll low.
That is
Right.
Yeah.
a 12. Does a 12 break your AC?
No.
Okay.
See,
You watch as the snake heads on the armrests of the throne strike out towards you, both fangs kind of briefly dripping with venom before they recede backwards, having just missed you by a little bit of a hair's breadth. The compartment inside of it appears to be empty and dusty. And you hear the mild laughter of some bandits around you.
I do love a good seat that bites you back.
Nantaris, if you were traveling with 2 thieves, rogues, well, people with expertise in traps and locks and things like that, maybe let them take on tasks like that in the future.
Yeah, let us
True.
do all the fun things.
But I wouldn't have ended up with the wonderful story about how I single-handedly beat the semi-animate throne of
The
bone.
chair. Have you defeated a chair in battle?
Yes.
I am sure your grandchildren will be very impressed with that tale.
Probably. And even if they're not, I'll embellish it by the time they're born.
truly aiming for the heights of Volo's fame.
Not so much his fame. He talks a lot and poses a lot.
That might just come with the fame. We don't know. Might be a requirement.
So,
So is this what you were looking for? This
This is
just a fun little thing we get to see on the way.
thrilling.
I'm glad
I
you're
thought
having
it
as much
was
fun as I
wonderful.
am.
well, as you all are booted into the northern hall and waved goodbye by some rather gangster-esque vampiric type people, you find yourself standing in this large hallway. It appears to be full of life-size granite statues of human warriors, all facing inward, standing atop of rows of pedestals that run down the length of the hall. You can see that the ceiling from here down is covered in really thick kind of spider webs, and you can see down the hall the curled and slightly crunchy bodies of 3 dead giant spiders riddled with crossbow bolts.
They are down here.
Yes, down in that direction. You can see that the hallway extends out in a couple of different directions from here.
Which way is our guide going?
Your guide opened the door for you and said good luck.
Oh,
Ah. Well, it seems they have at least dealt with some of the threats.
You can see that there are a couple hallways that lead off of this one, a small one without a door, another one that appears to have a door in front of it. The hallway of the statue seems to go down for quite a ways.
Shall we,
Do we explore the corridor with... Well, Lefaki, you're the noble one. Is this kind of thing normal? Statues either side, long, gaunt corridor,
this is where your folk hang out, right?
covered in cobwebs.
I believe that the statues signal an entranceway, probably leading to what used to be a throne room or a place of importance, but that may very well have been the room we have just left. So this may in fact be leading away into lesser chambers.
Or it could be leading to a throne room, and a throne room means treasure.
We have just
Like the
left
throne room we just were in. Where you
Yes, but
almost died to the chair. To the throne.
True, however, it seems very odd. Now, I'm not an architectural planner, I don't make castles and dungeons. But it seems a bit weird to have a corridor full of very ornate statues, and then a really shitty side door to the throne room. That doesn't make sense to me. Normally it's a big grandiose door, isn't it?
Can I
it's a
look at the
big
door?
entrance.
How shitty is this door?
Go ahead and make a perception check. A door check? I don't
Door check. I would like to vibe check the door. 23.
The door gives later installation non-throne room vibes. It looks almost like it was an add-on to this hall.
So this probably wasn't intended to be the way in, maybe?
And we must remember that the inhabitants of these dungeons were quite mad. So we may not, and they have been changed and altered many times in its history. So maybe we cannot rely on conventional wisdom. And Tyrus, you may be right about this one thing, not anything else you say.
Write a song about that.
Shall we carry on down the corridor?
Down towards all the statues or the other way? Because this looks like not north. This looks like east.
Yes, but there are ways north, and if we are to explore properly, then we may as well do it with some methodology.
All right, knock yourself out.
There is an open hallway here, a doorway here, a doorway here, and a large set of doors here.
I think I would come to here so I can see down this corridor.
Okay. Giving it a quick glance that appears to end in a door.
That seems to lead back the way we have come, maybe back into the throne room, if my orientation is right. Do you wish to go and check the door, Kuro? Or,
A little
shall we
bit.
carry on?
But
Then be my guest.
all right, I'll go look in the
I'll go
store.
with you.
All right. It appears to be a fairly simple door, just made of wood, small iron banding across the front. No lock that you can visibly see on it, just kind of a pull handle.
I pull the handle.
Okay. You pull the handle, and as you open it up, you see a floating, purple, sparkling orb.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello. I say to the orb.
The orb floats out of the doorway and seems to float
oh.
in the hallway. Just
I'll let it
next to you.
pass.
It just
Did
seems
someone lock you in here?
it just seems to be kind of hovering around your head, and then it moves
Oh.
to the other members of your party, just kind of vaguely circling the head.
Can I do an Arcana check on it?
You sure
We're making
can.
all sorts of friends today.
I have purposefully not followed them down that corridor. So does it come all the way up to me as well?
We'll bring it to you. Don't worry.
It hasn't
That's
made
a-
it to you yet, but go ahead.
That's a nat 20 with +5 to 25.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
This is a scrying spell. There is somebody looking through the other side of that orb at you right now. 100%.
Kuro, someone's spying on us.
Oh,
That's what the orb is. Hello! And I just wave at it.
well, it's a good thing that we're polite.
Do not believe everything this person says. Remember, he probably thinks that every door, every object, every anything is spying on him.
Can I touch the orb?
You can reach out to touch it, and there's this tingling feeling of magic, but it doesn't seem to be a solid mass.
Can I kind of like waft it? I'm gonna bring it over to Lethboggy to let him look at it since he thinks he knows everything.
Okay. As you
All
slowly
right.
make your
What do
way
you
that
think this
direction.
is then? And can I keep it?
I'm going to take a blanket out of my bag and throw it over the orb.
Oh, that's rude.
Oh.
I'd be like it if
everything
I
he
threw a
says is
blanket over
lie.
you.
There's just a floating blanket with a ball seemingly underneath of it.
If Nentaris is right, then we have solved that problem. If you wish to keep it, you can parade it around like a child's balloon if you wish to.
Does it have to stay under the blanket?
It does.
Well, then I can't see.
That is.
How's
the
it supposed to know where to
point,
go?
Because you will lead it like a child's balloon.
Okay.
I imagine child's balloons in this era are like pig's bladders that are floated with magic, which is
Probably.
quite creepy.
Nobody wants a veiny balloon.
Can I go see if there's anything else in that room that the thing was in there?
Yeah, you can go in whatever room you'd like to. This one looks to be another almost broom closet type of situation. But looking at it at the back of the wall, you can just make out that there is something drawn on the wall. It appears to be covered in dust. You can't quite make out what it is.
I don't really want to touch it in case it's like magic. I guess I'll just leave it then.
Okay.
I'll bring my balloon back with me.
Kiro, are you telling either of us about the weird symbol?
Yeah, there's a weird symbol on the wall back there, but I don't want to touch it.
It's a good shout. It's probably magical, given the fact there's
That's what I thought.
there's a scrying orb in a blanket. And the reason I know what it is, Lithvargi, is because for periods of my life I've seen them dotted around. That way we knew what was going on.
Fair enough.
But if you don't believe me, we can take the blanket off.
I believe in making sure.
Okay. Do we want to investigate the weird symbol the scrying orb came from in case we can find out who's watching us?
That does seem sensible.
I'm gonna take a little piece of rope and tie it around kind of like the bottom of the blanket so I have a leash for my pet. My pet's crying eye.
Your pet scrying orb.
My pet's crying orb.
It's just
What should I name it?
It's just listening to the muffled noises around it. Just
I will go down and have a look at this. The symbol. I'm going to look if I've got anything that can remove the dust. I'm going to try and blow the dust off. Is it just dust or is it like cobwebs and stuff?
looking at it, just appears to be a heavy layer of dust. Probably kind of just layered on over a couple of years.
I'm going to just try and blow as much of the dust off as I can.
Okay. Can you roll me a d10?
That sounds promising. That is a 5.
All right. A bright light flashes as the rune becomes very apparent very quickly as soon as the dust is off of it. It very briefly sears itself into your eyes, but your brain immediately knows the meaning. This is an elder rune. This elder rune is the elder rune of Hallister, the Mad Mage. You feel a sort of a magical shield take effect around you. You don't quite know what's happened, but it settles around you almost like a mage armor. To you two, looking at him right now, he doesn't look like Lethvargi. He does underneath, but there's this top layer of this strange, a little wild-looking old man wizard with a long beard, a very pointy conical hat, kind of a crazed look in his eye, and a very large grin, giving the thumbs up. Lethvargi's hands move as they do, but the wizard that seems to be covering his body is just giving 2 big thumbs up and grinning.
And Taurus is going to sprint down the corridor from where he is, and just stand in front of it and stare intently at Lethvargi, or the wizard.
Give the wizard 2 thumbs up.
Can I see the wizard hands in front of me?
Yeah, it's a little weird. They're kind of ghostly, a little bit transparent.
Motherfucker, why didn't you say you could do magic? This is amazing. You look old.
This is not my magic.
Oh,
I believe I activated the rune of the Mad Mage. I cannot be certain, but I believe I have some protection from this.
I try to hit him.
Of course you do.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll to hit.
$21.
You watch it just bounce off the outside. It doesn't seem to affect him at all.
I get a knife out.
Burrow,
oh, should we do it together? I'll
Oh.
draw my rapier.
if
Amazing.
if I am protected from things, maybe we don't waste it on you two being children.
This is true. We now have a human shield, a literal human shield.
I was already using him as a human shield.
So was I.
Now he's even better.
It does not appear to have dissipated after Kuro hit it. Nothing about it seems to change for the time being.
Shall we move on and hope that this stays?
I think it's a good idea. Now, I don't know how you two feel, but given the fact we've now got a wonderful balloon and weird wizard armor, I think we should just explore everything. Because that way we might find more things. And if we could all get protection like you've got, then it means everything we do would be significantly easier.
I do not think everything we face will be as beneficial as this, and we do not know whether there are some side effects, but there is some logic to what you say.
Fine by me. I'm not the one with 5 days of food.
I wonder if the weird wizard face he's got on nourishes him. Now he doesn't have to eat.
Suppose we'll find out. Come on, Dexel. I'll pull my balloon.
The balloon floats along with you. It doesn't seem to make any noise. Doesn't seem to be going anywhere for the time being either.
I'm not sure how we've got a balloon, but we have a balloon.
His name is Dexel.
Dexel. Good. I shall not be referring to him by his name.
I think Dexel's lovely, Kuro.
Me too.
Which door do we want to go through?
The next one.
This one?
Well, or maybe while I've got this protection, we go to the end and do the main doors.
That's what I was thinking, because then if a ballista bolt comes through, you'll be protected, and we'll be behind you.
I will keep walking down the corridor.
What do you think, Kuro?
I'm gonna pick a statue to hide behind while he opens the door.
I'll stand a little bit closer just in case I have to do some magic.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to the door and I'm going to have a look at the door and see if there's anything obvious that sticks out at me.
Okay. It is a large set of double doors that has been carved in what at first is kind of a very random pattern, but looking at it, it looks a little familiar to you. The shape looks like it double mirrors kind of a nine-tailed situation on either side. But carved from wood, fairly dusty, fairly old.
I'm going to go, I know. It might be it. It might be. And I'm just going to push the doors open.
Okay. Would you like to make a dexterity saving throw?
That is a 23.
All right. With a 23, how does this work? Oh, okay. Boy, howdy. How do I roll that many dice?
Man, I'm gonna miss him.
So you only take half damage, which means you only take 15 points of fire damage as a large, similar rune to the one that you saw previously. You now know another Elder Rune by sight, Labos, the Elder Rune of Fire, as a fireball comes out, plops onto your head, and scorches you for 15 points of fire damage.
I will kind of kneel as I take that damage and say, It is for you, mistress. It is for you. And I will then stand and look through the doorway.
Okay. Boy, howdy, let me open up another map. Hang on.
Do we hear him say this?
I'm not saying it quietly.
There you go. That answers your question. All right, where am I? Oh boy. As you open up that door. Oh boy. Hang on just a second.
See, Tiamat.
Yeah, just a, chill, normal Tiamat. There I am. Yeah, okay, you do indeed see that. As you open up that door, you all hear this growling, shuffling sort of noise. And echoing from inside of this darkened chamber ahead of you, you hear the sounds of at least 3 things growling. They seem to be large. Glancing in, some of you might recognize what is known as a manticore, as there are 3 of them prowling the inside of the room, each one seeming to circle around a nest that it has developed in the room. The doorway that you're currently standing in is too small for them to get through. You see them eyeing your direction hungrily as it opens.
Is there any imagery that confirms that this is where I think it is?
Glancing around, the ceiling still has a bit of the plaster fresco that you would recognize. You can see that there are multiple doorways in here, and the doorway towards the south does appear to be carved in a similar fashion to what you would expect.
I hear.
Yes, you are all outside that doorway. I just didn't want to throw you into a manticore den without asking first.
Well, let's close that door.
Definitely
Go a different
not.
way.
We cannot.
You want to go in there on purpose?
Why? At this point, Nithagi, you want us to go into a room full of very, very scary things. Why?
This is
We don't
why
all
I'm,
have magic wizard face to help us.
This is why I am here.
And this is...
This is my purpose, my destiny.
in words that make sense, please.
I am going to lower my hood.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, and I will turn to the left side of my head. It's visible to you. I am completely bald, and I have a tattoo coming from behind my ear that splays out across the entirety, like covers the entire left side of my head. And it is a cat and 9 tails with metal tips on the end of each one. It is very similar to the image that is on the door.
You see, I said words that make sense. You showed me a picture.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
If anyone is proficient in religion and would like to make a check, you may do so.
No.
Can I do it just for funsies?
Sure,
My +1?
go for it.
18.
Okay. Not a god of the common pantheon that you can recognize, but definitely has the feel of one of the older gods.
I am here to reclaim this place.
You just want this room full of manticores?
I wish to restore this place to its former glory. I must go in. I must clear out these creatures that do not belong here.
Well, who am I to stop your destiny?
I mean, I'm not going to stop you from doing it, but I don't think even someone with an ego your big could take on 3 manticores.
No, but the three of us together may.
But why would I go in? I don't care what that gets reclaimed.
You haven't given us a good reason to.
You've turned around and gone, I want this, I want that, I need to do this. We are an entourage. What's in it for me and Kuro and our dear balloon?
Dexel.
Excellent.
You would defy a god?
Yeah.
Not my god.
I feel like I defy the gods on a daily.
You do not think that you would be rewarded by my god for helping to cleanse her temple?
Well, is this a reward like your reward is now you get to serve me forever and you also have to get that tattoo that looked like it took a long time and really hurt?
Pain is an honor, a privilege.
Yeah, that's where we differ, friend. I'd rather
Hey.
not.
Yeah, pain's uncomfortable and, like, not really needed when you could have nice food, nice wine, and good company. Party.
Do you not think that I enjoy good food and good company as well?
You're not enjoying our company, and our company's delightful, isn't it, Kuro?
I'd say so. We're lovely.
Then maybe I will appeal to your base needs. I will pay you.
How much?
I will give you both 50 gold now to come in there with me and fight these manticores.
I have a counter offer. If we
Go on.
find any loot, items, gear, me and Kuro split it 50-50.
You may take anything that is not a relic. You may not remove holy items of my mistress, but anything else.
And
you
who is
find,
your mistress? You never said.
You do not
I just want to know who I'm helping here.
You do not recognize the symbol of Lord Viator.
Can't say I do.
Nope.
She is my mistress.
That she's the goddess of pain, or
She
Whips?
is indeed.
I have a lot more questions, but I suppose I could wait till later.
I have more questions, and I think we need to have a later discussion about it, like Kuro said. I'm happy that, provided it isn't a genuine holy relic, me and Kuro split everything we find 50-50.
In this temple.
In everything that we help you clear out.
Plus the 50 gold.
In regards to this goddess.
Agreed.
Right, how do we do this? There's
I
three of
do
them,
not
there's
like
three of
I
us.
do not like the look Katie just had on her face then.
While you all are discussing this, if anybody happens to glance back into the room where you have the door open and there are 3 manticores sitting in there, which, by the way, I will point out, they absolutely do have ranged weapons that they could be using on their body, but they seem content as they have all turned their attention towards the door. One of them is sitting with its paws underneath its chin watching you. The other one is sitting across the way, kind of in a similar pose, and a third one is pacing but turning back to look at you frequently.
Would I know from my past and the weird entities I'd have encountered if manticores are intelligent enough to hold a conversation?
You could make yourself a history check, a bardic check, if you will.
I'll take the soft 20.
A soft 20. Ooh, not 20, not natural. Ooh.
It is not the worst I've heard from that.
Amazing. Yes, you know that manticores are a little dumber than your average barbarian, but they do speak common, so they're probably listening to what you're saying right now. And more importantly, they, in stories, can be reasoned with to a certain extent. It kind of depends on what you have that they might want. They are definitely known for eating adventurers and taking gold if they can.
I'm gonna relay that information to Kuro and Lethvargi. So, we could reason with them, and I have an idea. It's a little bit risky, but it might work.
Let's hear.
Listening.
I'm gonna just gently close the doors again.
Wait, are we sure we're not just gonna get fireballed when we open them again?
I'm not gonna close them. I'll make sure there's like a gap between the 2 doors, so if there's any magical runes on it, they're not gonna seal and complete, but enough that they're gonna be struggling to hear us.
Okay.
So,
Hang on, Lentaris. And you, this time, you hear my voice in your head, not out loud. You can roll as well. And you also hear my voice in your head.
I hate this.
We do not need to converse out loud anymore.
this just feels like an invasion of privacy.
I think of all the dirtiest curse words I know.
I start speaking back to Lethvargi with all the conspiracy rant about Alter Deep and everything just channeled directly into his head.
Give me one sec. No. I am merely doing it so that we can talk without others hearing our plans.
Just maybe ask first next time. Hey,
Yeah.
Kuro, do you mind if I talk in your head?
It's the polite thing. Like standing up at a table before someone just sits down. Like, you know, the general etiquette things.
We live in different worlds.
So anyway, back to the topic at hand. We could go in and convince them that if we widen this doorway, we could basically get these 3 manticores and set them on the gang we just walked through. Kill the gang, no manticores. We then get a whole new area where the gang were with no gang members. And we have all of this with no manticores and no fighting.
How
Or
did they
we
get in
just fight
here?
them. I don't know.
Maybe one of the other doors is bigger? If they have a door out, we kind of lose that card, but...
Or
They
we go
have.
back and ask the bandits to help.
They're gonna want something for that, though.
True.
You wish to defile the house of my lady further.
I'm sure vampires love pain. I bet they'd feel right at home in there.
It was also just an idea. If you think we can take on 3 manticores, then
I think it is my duty, and you have taken a reward for doing so.
Mm.
And I will enjoy the pain we cause them.
I'm just gonna ignore that last bit and get ready. Fight.
I wasn't expecting to find this place so early on.
I wasn't expecting a bunch of vampires to be conjoined into stuff, you know? That's how it works out.
But then take one at a time, or shall we test ourselves and see who can defeat their manticore first?
or we challenge them to 1v3 fights. That way, we're not going to get, swarmed by 3 manticores.
You think they would accept such an offer? Be my guest.
If we double dog dare them, then they can't turn that down.
True. It's the rules.
It's all about honor.
Then Taurus, you managed to convince a den of vampires, so if you can convince them to fight us one by one, that is beneficial.
Okay, then that's what we're doing. So yeah, should we open the doors and go, guys?
Indeed.
I guess we're doing this.
I guess we are.
Alright. Well, you can distribute yourselves in the doorway as you see fit there.
Love the way we only have one melee fighter who is a rogue.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's fine, guys. We'll be fine.
It's right, I've got 2 backup characters.
Ew. Have some faith in us.
It's fine. If I die, I'm going to come back as one of the vampire gang.
So what is the plan as you enter here? Are we running in full bore? Are you just throwing open the doors? Are you walking in going, hey guys, what's up?
I'm gonna push the
1v1
doors
me, bro.
open. Yeah, just like push the doors open. I'll walk through, kind of nonchalant. Well, good evening, good afternoon, good day. I'm not quite sure what time it is. We're down here and not up there. I want to know what you're doing in here. If you wouldn't mind entertaining me in a conversation, it'd be much appreciated. Looking at the 3, kind of panning my eyes around.
Looking around at the not quite human faces with the way too wide mouths, the slightly cat-like nose, the lion-esque body with the stinger tail kind of swishing in the background, you're definitely struck with how alien these things are, but the one in the middle turns towards you and says, "We're in here to consume anything that comes in."
Why are you consuming what comes in? Have you been
Hungry.
asked to do it by someone?
Yes.
Ooh, who asked you to do it? You see, we may be working for the same person, and if that's the case, I don't want us to get our wires crossed and accidentally hurt each other and piss off the person we're meant to be looking after.
The manticore squints at you. You work for him too?
Yes. Why wouldn't I? Why else would I be here? I've just had to deal with a local group of vampires that have invaded into some space he didn't want them, so we've dealt with that. I just wanted to come into here to see nothing had gone wrong in here.
Would you like to make a deception check?
That's an 11.
All right, all right. Give me just a second to see how smart a manticore is. Answer is not very, usually, so. Let's see here. Come on. Thank you. That'll be a... So very wise and perceptive. The manticore kind of squints at you a bit and says, well, then he should have warned you not to come down here and be food.
He warned us, but also said it was about time that the three of you had a challenge. So he's tasked me with saying that he wants you in turn, one at a time, to fight the three of us, so that the strongest one may take control of the other denizens he will send in.
Okay. Go ahead and make one more deception check if you would.
That's better. That's 16.
That is better. The manticore kind of tilts its head at you once again and says, we can compete between each other any time. If we all three wanted to fight over territory, we would have already done it.
Yes, but fighting between three people where you know your abilities because you are in essence of the same race is different from fighting the three people that he sent here to test you.
I'm going
Because
to
he wants to
cast
make sure you're the
command
stronger.
on the manticore.
Okay.
And the word is accept. And he needs to make a wisdom saving throw. DC 15.
That is a 19.
Damn it.
It just tilts its head at you and then looks across at the other manticores and says, I mean, one each is barely a snack.
What kind of food do you like? You bored of eating people?
They tilt their heads. We don't only eat people.
But have you ever experienced good food, fine dining?
We're brought food. And he pulls a paw, if he had a thumb, he'd jerk one, towards a door behind him and says, the troll brings us food.
Yes, but I'm talking about good food, flavorful food.
What is flavor?
You don't know what flavor is, oh you poor creatures. How about this? I need to go through the south end doorway, and obviously I'm doing my rounds as per what he's asked me to do. In return, while my two companions here go through the door, I will make you some food. I am called Ember Whisk for a reason, and that's because I make a damn good selection of food.
Would you like to make a persuasion check?
I mean, if you pull this off, man, like, well done.
Let me cook for
No,
you.
that's a natural one.
No.
It was going so well.
It's
Ah.
an 11 with my bonus, but that doesn't count.
Yeah. Well, I mean, upside is he only rolled a 5, but he kind of just looks at you. I don't know what cooking is, but we usually just eat people, meat.
Cooking, you don't know what spices are, flavor, that when it hits your tongue and makes your brain blossom in excitement.
You're going to hear in your head, Nentaris, Nethvagi going, I think you are using words that they do not understand. Simplify.
How about this? You give me 5 seconds to pull something out of my bag, which you can try, and if you like it, I will make you something better.
They appear to be waiting, looking towards you, confused, expectantly.
I am going to pull out 3 of my packets of fine rations
All right.
and throw them one at each as best I can. I'm not going to get it all the way across the room, but
Okay. The nearest manticore immediately slams a paw down on top of it, dragging it over to them, scraping across the stone floor as they go. Looking at what they're all sitting on, you can see that their bedding, their little nests are mainly made of what appears to be humanoid bone, broken bits of stone, some broken glass, a few tapestries tossed over it. But it pulls over the bag and, without really opening it, just shoves it into its mouth and begins to chew. And you hear the ripping and shredding of the various packaging / handkerchiefs around the things as it sits there and chews, kind of making assessing nods. Good. Another.
I will make you something better if you allow my 2 companions here to go down the door to the bottom, and I gesture to the door pot, this one down here.
Okay. He squints, and the other manticore down near that end of the door says, "Have to go by me. Need one too."
I'll make you all something. I have enough to make you all something.
Okay. Well, while the manticores kind of move not off of their nests, but a little more closer to the center of the room, kind of looking towards Nantaris expectantly, who looks ready to pull out a camping pot and make the most important survival check of his life. What are you two doing? They appear to be distracted for the moment.
I'm going to say to the others, this will get us into the room, but they must leave the temple eventually. And I'm going to start walking down to the other room.
All right.
I'll go too.
Okay.
I'm staying behind the human shield, the meat shield.
All right. You make your way to the doorway without incident. There is a kind of scarily close tail stinger floating near that door from the manticore standing at it, but it seems to have its attention pointed in the direction of Nantaris midway through. What are you making for them while these two are about to go explore a room? What are we cooking?
So, I'm going to pull out of my bag of holding my miner's camp stove and my wagon chef's utensil and my barrel of salmon, along with the...
You're going to make them sushi.
No?
Okay, so I might stay.
The room.
Where is
I'm staying here.
Along with the various spices that I've got in the various utensils, and 5 bottles of dwarven whiskey.
Amazing.
You don't have, like, poison in there, do you?
Nope.
I think he's going to try and get them really drunk.
Yep.
Are you taking them on a date, Nantaris?
How did you know? Love me a good stinger.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm going to basically, over the course of, say, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of frying up salmon, kind of salted salmon fillets in spices with a basting of kind of semi-cooked off dwarven whiskey and a bit of Elminster's choice ale. And I will go through the entire barrel, just literally frying it up and launching it into their mouths.
All right. Well, if you want to go ahead and make, instead of it, you could either make a survival check or a performance check, because it kind of sounds like you're doing a little bit of the, the place where you sit down, they throw food at you with the knives while they're cooking.
Yeah, Teppen, I think it's Teppanyaki.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'll do a performance one because there is an element of me chatting to them.
Keeping them occupied.
That's a natural one again.
Jesus Christ.
Run, guys, run.
You're
very
just
fast.
throwing fish into their faces, like slap, slap.
Are you not proficient in performance?
I'm an expertise in performance, so I got 11 in total.
Gotcha. All right. Well, the smell of meat is currently entertaining them enough, though they are being actively slapped in the face with meat, so you're not entirely sure how that's going to help the situation, as they begin to look slightly annoyed as the first couple of them just land on foreheads, but they are quickly grabbed off and shoved into mouths. So we'll come back to that while that's occurring. You two are at a closed doorway.
I am going to take a look at the door, get on my knees, say a prayer,
I'm gonna back up.
I am going to pull off my kind of the top section of my robes and take my whip out, and I am going to whip myself on the back 4 or 5 times with my metal tipped cat and nine tails.
I'm gonna just turn and give my best help look at Nantaris.
I'm just gonna look at you and be like, while flipping fish, like.
And I'm going to. I've taken the damage for that. I'm then going to. I'm bloodied, by the way. I'm then going to open the door after having a cursory check for more traps.
All right.
And put my robes back on.
Okay. If you'd like to make an investigation check at the door.
That's a 12.
It is not visibly trapped. Just looks like a door, pretty dark underneath of it.
Kuro, you would have seen when I took my robes off that my entire body is covered in scars. And I'm going to open the door.
Okay. You are greeted with what appears to be the dead and partially desiccated body of a basilisk laying in the middle of the floor, its bones sticking upwards. You also see feeding upon it what appears to be 2 giant centipedes. They are happily munching away at the body as you open the door. One of them turns towards you and hisses slightly as it munches on the body.
I'm going to. I've still got the shield around me, right?
You do.
I'm just going to walk past them.
Wait, did the shield stop you from hitting yourself?
You know,
Hope not.
it kind of did. It blocks all damage by definition.
That's very annoying.
So you watched. Not only did you watch him beat himself, you watched him ineffectually beat himself.
I think that's a little better. I'm not sure.
It's not better for Lefwagi. He's very cross. What am I going to do? I'm going to walk up to the first giant centipede, and I am going to pull one of my daggers into existence and just fling it straight between the eyes.
All right. Let's go ahead and roll to hit there.
That's a 19.
19 definitely hits.
And so that's going to be 6 psychic damage. And I'm then going to make the knife kind of, as it sinks into it, I'm then going to make the knife twist, and I'm going to roll one of my cruelty dice and add that damage as well, which is only 2 more damage. So that's 8 damage in total, 6 psychic. Oh, it's the same. It's 8 psychic damage.
Okay. Without issue, you drive a dagger through this centipede's head, and it twitches for a few minutes before it seizes and rolls into a ball. It's dead.
I'm going to try and do the same thing to the next one if
While I would normally have you roll initiative, you find that though it tries to bite at you, the shield does not dissipate around your form.
So I'm just going to feel like perfectly confident with this, and I am enjoying inflicting this pain on these creatures, so I am just going for it.
I'll let him go for it.
Yeah, you're just standing in the back watching the
Yeah.
outline of the wizard go through.
Get one of my pastries out.
Good time.
Do you want me to roll again?
If you just want to, if you want to roll to hit it, that'd be great.
That is a crit.
It's dead before you roll damage. it's died a long time ago.
I will still use the cruelty dice though, because I want to do it for you.
All right. There seems to be a special sort of disregard for life in this attack.
And then I'll walk past them.
All right. That was brief. As you make your way past some dead centipedes, you do notice, Emma, as you're walking past the body of the basilisk, clutched in its little desiccated claws is what appears to be some sort of glowing orb.
If I take it, then I'll have 2 glowing orbs. And I'll have a collection. Do I know anything about magic? Can I tell if it's magic?
You can make an Arcana check if you'd like to.
14?
Definitely looks magical. Probably a magical item rather than something like the Scrying Eye, which is more of a magical effect.
Well, I was told those were worth a platinum each, so I don't want to touch it with my skin, but I'll take like the hem of my shirt or whatever, or the sleeve, and pick it up.
Okay. It seems to weigh about 1 pound. Feels almost like a crystal ball sort of situation. Thick glass.
All right, I'll put it in my bag for now. I'll ponder the orb later.
Great. All right. So as you go on pondering orbs, coming down into the temple proper, you can see that there are multiple statues on the wall. Their faces probably worn away a pretty long time ago. In the front of this room, you can see that the temple itself has been pretty desecrated. There's a lot of broken statuary. It looks like a lot of faces have been purposefully smashed off here and there. The statues give kind of elven or maybe very slender human vibes. You're not sure what they were originally of. Most of you aren't sure what they were originally of. There are 6 statues along the walls themselves. One of them appears to be made of a glistening black stone. The rest of the statues all appear to be made of normal stone. Down at the end of the hallway, you can see that there are a bunch of petrified creatures standing around what was probably once some sort of a central area where you might have had a podium or a larger worshipping space. There is instead what appears to be probably victims of the dead basilisk.
Do I know anything about this room from my reading or the diary?
You recognize the description of the room proper. The one odd out statue doesn't stand out as anything that you read about. But the podium mixed in and around the petrified creatures down there, would have probably held some information, if any, as to what occurred.
I'm going to speak in Kuro's mind and say, you would normally not be allowed in here unless you performed some rites of penitence.
You didn't ask first before you spoke in my mind again. That's so rude.
It is the same effect.
I'll allow it this time. So do I just have to pretend to hit myself like you did back there, or?
Oh!
I will pay my dues when this shield is removed. I was going to say that as the whipmaster of my church, I will allow you not to undergo the rites. But please do not touch anything in this room.
I mean, I was promised half of the things we find as long as they weren't artifacts. So can I touch
Yes.
things that are not artifacts?
There may be tools and items of severe pain in this room. Let me make it safe before you go around touching things that may do you harm.
Fine.
And I will walk down slowly. I am quite reverent. I will stop briefly at the obsidian, or assuming it's obsidian, the black statue, and see if I can tell who it is or anything about it.
It looks very similar to the other statues, which originally probably would have been depictions of people in various states of pain, agony, etc., and so forth. This one is just smoother than all the rest of them. It has this glistening black sheen to it.
I will leave it for now, and I will head down to the bottom of the room.
Okay.
See what I can see.
Looking around there are a lot of petrified creatures. What appears to be maybe a male human, a half-orc, an elf, 2 halflings, 2 goblins, 2 kobolds, a carrion crawler, all variously turned to stone in this one little collection here. Glancing around them, you can see that where there was once a podium, there's mostly smashed rock, but hanging from the stony tentacles of the carrion crawler, you can see a crown with these double-pointed malachite spears around the edges of it.
So as I walk past this statue here, I'm just gonna poke in the forehead so it falls over backwards and hopefully smashes. And then I'm going to go up to the carrion crawler and try and take that item.
All right. So, Nintaris, while you're in the middle of cooking, you hear the sound of stone smashing in another room. If you'd like to go ahead and roll another survival check while you're out here trying to entertain 3
Survival or
toys.
performance?
Whichever you would like to do. If you're aiming for performance to keep them distracted with that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Aim for their mouths.
And get a 2, so it's a 12.
They are being fed, so you still have their attention, though they do not look at all like they would not 100% eat you if you got boring anytime soon.
Are they getting drunk, though?
You know what? Let's find out. What are they drinking again?
They are drinking
slightly cooked off alcohol.
Effectively, slightly cooked off fireball whiskey, and slightly cooked off strong dark ale.
Can manticores get drunk? Surprisingly, yes. Let's see here. Okay.
The things we Google for D&D.
One. Well, I was just looking to see if they were immune to poison, because that's what alcohol is.
Ah.
One of them is very definitely drunk. Two of them are inebriated. One seems to be able to hold his liquor slightly better, and you're not sure that anyone's ever seen a drunken manticore. It reminds you a little bit of a drunken barbarian. The two of them begin boasting at each other that they're going to take the other one's nest, and they look about as ready to come to blows as the other one is to you.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not sure drunk manticores are less dangerous than sober ones.
You're not wrong. So, as you've knocked over the statue, you easily enough pull the copper and malachite crown from its tentacles. Holding it in your hands, it looks shiny, new. The copper hasn't degraded in any way that you can tell.
When you described it, you said there were like spears on it. Are they spears that if you wear the crown, they go into you? So they're up.
Yeah, it looks like it would definitely be painful to wear. It also looks like it, if you were to headbutt somebody with it, it might do some damage too, as they point both ways.
Really wish I didn't have this shield on me. I'm going to say out loud. I don't think this is going to work, but never mind. Hathor, can you leave? Hoping, no, is it Hathor? The wizard?
Hallister?
Hallister, sorry, not Hathor. Hathor is one of the Norse gods. Hallister, that's it.
You say, Hallister, can you leave? And do you say it into your head out loud?
I think I'll say it out loud.
The balloon that you've been carrying disappears, Kuro.
No! I sadly pick up the blanket and start folding it.
My balloon!
Dexel.
Dexel!
I'm going to examine this crown.
Okay.
See if I can tell anything, tell if it's magical or just if it's just a nice thing that was used to inflict pain.
Would you like to make either a religion check with advantage, a historical check?
I will do a religion check with advantage. That is a 24.
You recognize this to be both a fairly well-known amidst that religion magical item, but also a status or symbol marker. Someone very high in the church would tend to wear this.
So that's all right. I would probably not deem myself worthy yet. I will put it in my bag.
Okay. It maybe wrap it up a little bit so it doesn't punch holes through your bag,
Yeah.
but
I will then. There's nothing else down here that looks of any kind of. Are all of the people's items and stuff turned to stone, or just their bodies?
there are a couple of here and there pouches and things like that that appear to have fallen off of wastes and things. If you want to make an investigation check, you can try to pick up a few of those. You might be able to get Kuro's help with that.
I was just going to go up to Kura and say, you can help yourself to what is left.
All right. I'll say you owe me a new balloon, and then I'll go start looking at things.
Okay. If you would like to roll an investigation check.
I would love to. 11.
Okay. Taking a glance around, there's maybe 50 gold worth of scattered coin in some purses here and there. The odd gem or two, maybe 10 gold worth of gems, rubies, emeralds, that sort of thing. Smaller things that have obviously been pried out of other jewelry. In particular, you do find on the floor a half-smashed scroll or map case of some sort.
Does it appear that the case is magical?
The case looks like it took a little bit more damage than for it to be possible that it's magical.
All right, and I will open it.
Okay. Taking a glance inside, there is now a little disintegrated on one side of the parchment what appears to be a map of some sort. You can just make out a little bit of what appears to be kind of the outlay of the temple that you're in. And then on the other side of it, a little bit of something that you don't quite recognize, maybe a city or a different piece of land somewhere, just a part of a map. Not quite sure what it means. A lot of the writing's been really faded off.
All right, I'll hold on to that.
Interested in the statue, but I'm not sure what to do with it. I'm going to approach the statue again, and I am going to look around it for any kind of grooves or kind of mechanisms or anything like that to see if it might move or have an might do something.
Okay. Just looking around it.
Yeah, in investigation or perception?
Investigation will work.
10.
Okay. Just looking around it without touching it or like getting up into it, it's looks a lot like all the other statues around it. Just this very shiny outside to it. A candy coating, if you will.
Licking it.
Do it.
Why is this one different? I'm going to lay my hand on it. Are they kind of my size or are they bigger statues?
They are all about people-sized.
I'm going to lay my hand on its chest, right at the center.
Okay. Let's see here. So, very quickly, off of the statue and down onto your arm, a sticky, amorphous black pudding slides its way off of the statue and onto you.
Good.
So that is 4 points of acid damage as you touched it. And now it's on your arm. Oh, wait. No, it isn't. You're immune to all damage. There's a black pudding on top of you. Kuro, you watch as this black pudding slides its way up your friend's arm and onto his shoulder, seemingly trying to kind of eat through him, but it just seems to be stuck on the outside of the wizard. You can hear the sounds of Nintaris making manticore-style dinner in the background. And that's probably where we'll pick back up next week, is it a 6 o'clock?
Amazing.
Perfect place to stop, right? You know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, Nentaris, that was like, we are on such a knife edge here, right? You're in a room alone with 3 manticores.
And I'm in a room alone with someone who likes to hurt themselves for fun. We're all in danger.
It's not for fun, it's worship.
I
You
have
wouldn't do it if you didn't enjoy it.
This whole thing is taken from a real world religion, right?
Oh, I don't think I'll be joining that one. Thanks.
You can also find this religion featured in Baldur's Gate in the Goblin Camp. That man that is beating himself with a whip is one of
Yeah.
Rob's people.
Mm.
I don't think I talked to him.
I don't advise it. He'll hit you.
Oh,
So yeah, here's a load of exposition about my character.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, everyone, for tonight's episode of Trauma with Rob. We will see you all again next week, probably sometime this week, for some character drawing shenanigans, as it sounds like Lethvagi's going to need some blood splatter at the least. And we'll catch you all next week.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That was great.
Wonderful.